He didn't Epstein this girl, which
All
means two
right.
things now, I guess. Um,
All right, it's the rundown. January 9th, 2025. I got that correct on the first try. Again, Thirst Trap Thursday with the three sexiest faces we could find at Barstool here to bring you all your rundown love. And that is presented to you by DraftKings. There's only a few weeks left of football, but we are in the thick of the best time on the football calendar with the playoffs happening now in college and soon to be in the pros. It is glorious. Starting tonight, Thursday, January 9th, we have football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We have day games, we have night games, we have college, we have pros, and it's absolutely glorious. And DraftKings is there for you all that. Get in on the action right now with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Fade or follow all of your favorite Barstool personalities picks in the Barstool betting group on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code RUNDOWN and bet just $5 on any wager to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code RUNDOWN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. And we have ourselves an alum of one of the teams playing tonight, Mr. Notre Dame there, the Fighting Irish, Mr. Large. Large, is that a class ring you're wearing? Are you wearing a class? Are you?
well, I don't know. Did I bring out so that's how great of a weekend this is for DraftKings and for football fans. They have me doing one of the gambling cave things because Chief is the biggest Notre Dame fan in the office, bar none. Writes the blog every year and all that kind of stuff. Frank is a huge Notre Dame fan. Frank the Tank, he's coming out also. And then they just wanted somebody older to try and put a tent on this fucking circus. So they pulled me out of mothballs. So I'm going to be here tonight, and it's going to be the three of us with a couple of people who are also Notre Dame fans. And on the other side of the table, or the other side of the gambling cave, will be, I believe, Roan, Max, the big guy Max, who has a broken foot, so maybe that keeps him on in his seat for a little bit. I don't feel like getting my balls busted. A gentleman named Connor, a talented young gentleman, and Jeff D. Lowe, who's
Oh, that's right. We got a lot of
yes,
Penn Staters here,
yeah.
including that motherfucker
Yeah.
Joey Langone that we know and
Fucking
hate so
Joey,
much.
yeah. Yeah. And I don't like the Irish tonight as much. Like, I think everyone's so high on Freeman and stuff like that. It's got everybody a little bit skewed. I'm hoping it's not a long night for me. You know, you guys know I'm a very emotional
You're
guy
gonna be,
at heart.
yeah. You're gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
hearing the "We Are." They're gonna be hitting
Oh,
that in
yeah,
your
we
face
are.
all
Yeah.
night. Yeah, that's tough.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no,
I apologize. Did I
Large.
throw that out there?
We're gonna be demonetized a minute into this rundown.
I apologize. So yes, I'm looking forward to. I'm in the Chicago office. It's absolutely. I just took a dump in the Will Compton room or
Oh,
whatever.
nice.
Giant fern in there. I mean, we just want doors on the stalls in New York. They got
Yeah.
ferns going on and stuff. It's an impressive sight out here.
Large, have you ever done a stream with Frank the Tank where you're rooting for the same teams and he has a meltdown along the way? Has that
I've
ever happened to you?
I've never done a stream with Frank.
Mm.
I've never done one. We were gonna do the Daytona 500 one year, and he's like, "Oh, I'll sit in for that." And it got rained out, so we weren't able to do it. They finished the race on Monday, so he wouldn't have been that invested,
No.
you
Yeah, of
know.
course not.
I don't know how invested he is in Notre Dame football, but if this was like a Dolphin game or a Met game or something, I've told you about some of the horror stories I've had driving to and from Rough and Rowdy, where he's listening to it even just on
Yeah.
his phone, and he gets into it. Not a horror story, but you know,
It's a horror story. It
it's
is.
kind
It's
of a horror for
passionate.
somebody trying to drive and just listen to some 80s country. It's tough when Frank's going nuts on some guy that fucked up a double play.
Well, we reverted Frank the Tank to Frank Fleming, or us, a mix of us, the Mets good better play in the 2024 season, and Jenks. Obviously, I think the weight coming down has turned him into a little happier person, kind of like you here, as you've shed some lbs along the way. I'm
Mhm.
interested to see when things get a little tough for the Irish, if it's Frank the Tank in the cave with you or Frank Fleming. So make sure to check that out tonight, and here's our friends at DraftKings.
By the way, Chicago office, Ozempic on tap.
Oh,
This
how
is kind of
nice of
nice. Yeah,
them!
yeah, yeah. So it's a
How
gentleman's way to go about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are on camera more, so it's really important for them
Yeah.
to put in their
You
best foot
you
forward.
get hair plugs as you walk in the office now. They brought the guys from Turkey, so I'm going in about a half hour. They got the OZ on tap. It's just everything that you want. I think Dante just got involved with the new restaurant. He mailed in what looks like a wonderful lunch today. But I'm doing, I believe I'm doing Rico Benny's for lunch with a friend of ours, Eddie. And so we're going to do Rico Benny's with him and John Gruden. How great of a
Oh,
fucking table is
wow.
that going to be for
What?
lunch?
I
Yeah.
am invested in that
Way to rub it
already.
in, yeah.
Yeah. Can I say something before you start the topics?
Yeah, go for it, pal.
So Eddie, who's one of our, I think collectively our favorite people in this place, right? I mean, Robbie, you love Eddie, obviously.
Love Eddie.
Yeah, I know how you feel about him, Clem, and I love the guy too. Hey, Lodge, what are you doing tonight? I said, oh, I don't actually have any plans. I'm going to do a little food content. I had hit a beef place, and then I hit this place, Twin Anchors, for some ribs. He's like, oh, after that's done, you want to go play bocce? It's up at community center, about a half hour out of town. I was like, yeah. He's me and my boy, and then we need two others. So I got Za and then you. It's me, Za, Eddie, and one of Eddie's oldest friends. We went to this old school in Elmwood Park, I believe it's called, community center. And when I say old Italian guys, I know what I am. I know I'm 53. These guys were all older than me. It was so refreshing. One of the old Italian, I can't take it. This broad keeps bending over for the Polino. Meanwhile, she's like 65 years old. We're drinking red wine out of plastic cups. It was at some point, Eddie's like, I'm sorry if this wasn't, like fancy. I was like, Eddie, this is perfect. This is
That
this
was
is
your
what
dream, yeah.
the best
I
part
saw the
of Brooklyn.
pictures and I honestly got FOMO.
Yeah,
I was
you know what?
jealous.
I think that if you and I see a picture of somebody at a Super Bowl, Robbie, you're like, oh, I hope they had fun. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if I saw somebody else having this experience with Eddie, I would get a
I
little
was
bit
jealous.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. And by the way, Za, for people who don't know, is very small. He's diminutive in stature. He's a dwarf. He's perfectly built for bocce because they
Built for
don't.
bocce.
It's indoors, so you can't go to the air volo, which I'm used to, crust oyster shell. It's all rolling. So Za is very like kind of in there, and he's very good. It was just positivity all the way around with Eddie's bocce thing. So when you come out here to do that, I highly recommend it. We played for a couple hours and never broke a sweat. It's the perfect fucking sport. Yeah. So for people out there who want to do that.
Was there any like trepidation or like anyone upset? Like using Za for bocce feels like using Odd Job and Goldeneye. It's like there's obviously a of having Za on your team bocce.
The
He's
the whole
nerfed. You got to nerf him, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's uses
the
left
whole
hand.
he had an off night. He'll tell you. He'll be the first one to tell you he had an off night. I played very well. I'm not bragging. I'm just good at sport. But everybody there was like retired firemen. It seemed to be like a bunch of like retired firemen and stuff like that. So just the dichotomy of old Italian firemen from Chicago, playing against, this guy from Zimbabwe. It's when he showed up to my son's confirmation party at McMurphy's Pub in Ridgewood. Everybody there was bloated and white like me. You know what I mean? We're all McCarthys. We're big fucking waterheads. And in comes a guy who's wearing a full dashiki, a little fucking guy. And he does it. He doesn't get enough credit because he does it effortlessly and everybody loves him right away. No matter how racist you are or sizist you are, everyone loves, did we just get canceled again? Everyone loves Za. He would have done well in Penn State.
Oh, God.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, moving along to another place where I wish I was right now. Our boy Gucci Mane purchased his wife Keyshia Kayor. I don't know if this was the Keyshia or if that is her. It's a different young lady out there. A private island for her birthday. So now that we're on the panel with two married men and one soon-to-be married man, we could all kind of just exchange some war stories. Large, what's the nicest thing you ever bought, Annie?
I told you I did it for Mother's Day this year. Did I tell you what I
Oh,
did?
yes.
We did this on the rundown, yeah.
Yeah, with the tooth.
Yeah.
I can't. And I mean, I've spent literally now. I've been married for 25 years, 26 years this year. So I'm not flexing, but I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this woman, right? Because it's been a quarter of a century that we've been together. And the best thing I did was I think $7 worth of super glue and a fucking shadow box frame for $2 or $3. Do you know Gucci Mane spiders on one of his songs? Do you remember that?
He is. He kicks off a Gucci Mane album, which is insane. And they have Spider talking to, who is it?
We had Mark Martin on the show. You
Mark
can
Martin.
kind of hear me in it because it's me and Spider interviewing a guy named Mark Martin, who's a retired driver, older gentleman. And Mark Martin, even though he was, an ingrained NASCAR driver, like as you would think
He looked like
would
one of
be.
these bocce players, basically.
Yes. And he used to listen to Gucci Mane beforehand on whatever platform you had to,
The platform
Napster.
was Dat Piff.
Dat
He
Piff.
shouts it out on the Gucci Mane track. It's so funny. It's Spider's voice kicking off this fucking hard rap album. Like it sounds like something that a football team could come out of the tunnel to.
Yeah.
And it's Spider's voice that kicks it off. So That
We
is
didn't get
awesome.
a single fucking copy of the album. We didn't get a
No.
T-shirt, a fucking Gucci Mane jacket, no residuals, no
You
nothing.
get the
So
pride. You get the pride. You're on a Gucci Mane song for life.
fuck you. I just went to go see Seven, the movie, Brad Pitt and stuff.
Oh yeah, the
Just
re-release.
saw it in the IMAX. I'm sure everybody who was an extra in Seven got a little residual check from that. That's the
Yeah.
way this fucking business works. Fuck Gucci Mane. Fuck this
Whoa.
island. It's
No,
a
no, no.
bullshit island.
You don't want to be doing that.
I don't want to do
Don't
that.
do that. Apparently he
I
listens too. He listens
know
to Barstool.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Spider's on one of the albums with Mark Martin. So it's kind of cool that we have that little bit of a
Yeah,
connection.
it's very
You know what
cool.
I mean?
Yeah, Large loves it. Yeah.
Street cred. Yeah, street cred.
Large, would you accept 48 hours on the private island when it's, I don't even know, is it up and running? Like, is there water
I don't know. That's
and
a thing.
amenities?
That's like it's a nice gift on paper. It's a nice gift for the headline. It sounds like a lot of fucking work getting everything to the island. It's also like you buy your wife, fiance, girlfriend an island. Is that you telling her like, I want you to go on that island and leave me alone? I think that this is one of those weird things that's very nice on paper and not practical whatsoever.
And then this is my other question, and this is my age. Luckily, I'm not the oldest man on the rundown, which doesn't happen often when I'm on. But thankfully for half hundred large over there, I didn't realize Gucci Mane had private island money. And granted, there's different kind of private islands here. This is like all inclusive resort private island. But what is Gucci Mane like? Is a lot of his private island money off the books? Should we just say is that kind of what Gucci Mane does?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know Maine well enough to speak on Mr. Maine, but Gucci's got it like that.
We'd know more about it if he would carve off a little bit to me and Spider for being on his fucking record. I saw the island. It's not impressive. It's not. It looks more. So there's a walking bridge from the mainland, and when I say there's a walking bridge is maybe like 20 feet. So over like a small type inlet. It looks like one of those man-made islands where there's a hut on it, and then a couple of like it looks like just stations where you can
Like
sunbathe.
the one the New York financier had. What was his name?
No,
Jeff?
so yeah, Jeff. Nothing like Epstein. Nothing like that. So there's no, you can fly into whatever place it's right off the coast of, literally right off the coast of. And I'm not saying I could hit a 3-iron to the island. I'm saying I could hit a ping pong ball to it. So let's pump the brakes on the fucking island talk. He didn't Epstein this girl, which means two things now, I guess. But congratulations to Gucci or Mr. Maine.
Gucci.
Nonetheless, yeah.
I mean, this is just one of those things she can share with her friends on Instagram. Gucci bought me a private island. They're not going to probably nitpick too much, going to make them jealous. And that's kind of what sometimes girls have as their currency amongst their friends is jealousy about the other person, is getting. So congrats to them both.
Hold on a sec, Clem. What's the best gift you've ever given your wife? You put me on the spot. And I'm going to ask you about your fiance, Robbie, after this.
I got two. Her daughter and her son. Boom. Done.
Oh,
those are great
delivering that fucking high-powered sperm that creates beautiful kids. Is that what you're saying?
So
your best gift to your wife was 2 well-timed loads. Robbie, what about you?
Correct.
I can't beat that, but I don't know what it would be. We've been together 4 years. We've been on many vacations together. I would say it's got to be one of the vacations. It's got to be, we just did London and Scotland and Italy. It's probably that one.
Mm-hmm. And you did Ridgewood, New Jersey.
True. Right? Yeah. Ridgewood this weekend. Large crashed my cousin's wedding. Hysterical. My family loved it. You should have seen the look on my mom's face when she turns around and Large was just standing at my cousin's wedding. Yeah. It was down the block from basically down the block from where he lives. So it was, not too uncommon for the mayor of Ridgewood to stop by. But yeah, that really made us laugh. We got a nice family picture together.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And by the way, if Annie ever leaves me, I'm going right after Miss Foxy. You fucking kidding me?
I told my mom you said that. She cracked up. She thought that was great.
Yeah, she's a stunning woman. Absolutely stunning woman. Yeah, but I appreciate them not throwing me out, by the way. That was very nice of the bride and groom. If you could thank them.
They thought it was great. They loved it. Yeah.
Mrs. Fox. Fox isn't a maiden name or a married name. That is a stage name. That woman is a Fox, and she owns that name. The people at Punk know Robbie's mom has got it going on the whole.
Yeah, right.
I had major FOMO at that as well when I just see two of my guys at a wedding. And
I texted Clem the picture. He was the first person to get the picture. It was Clem.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, check this out." Yeah.
The only thing missing is I'm sure there was a lot of Jersey accents where I'm sure last night you got a lot of great Chicago accents. Chicago firemen, like the accent, the smoke just, really seals it in, I feel
Oh,
like.
it's the great like, and at one point you start, I want to talk like them either way, but at some point it turns into Avatar where they start to understand the what is it, the Navi or whatever, and so
Yeah,
they
yes.
just all of
Yeah.
a sudden the language turns to. I wish they would do this with Shogun. I'm reading way too much. The Shogun is a lot of reading, and it's a great show, visually
Oh, you're
stunning.
reading it.
No, no, the fucking watching
Oh,
the show,
oh,
it's
on the
all
gotcha.
subtitles.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish
I know.
one of
I
them would
fell
learn
off.
fucking English. Yeah.
I
You
fell
know,
off the show.
but after a while, they were like, if your ball's away, they do this to you. From the other side, there's like hand signals. By the end of the day, I'm like, hey, doing all that and trying to get the whole fucking thing down. I kind of like, Chicago agrees with me.
And be honest, does Eddie's accent come out even more when he's around the Chicago guys? Because I noticed Portnoy, when he's around like Witt, that's when you hear like Boston Dave come out. I'm like, where the fuck did this guy from?
Yeah. Oh, he goes right into like he's in the Untouchables. He gets deep in the fucking weeds. I love it.
Oh, I love it too. I love it too. Another move I love is local sports reporter got caught looking at Rihanna's lingerie correction during a live hit. They kind of go to him. He's kind of in like the little back room there. You just see on his computer just a big picture of Rihanna's like Instagram and just all of Rihanna there with a little bit of red lingerie, maybe a little Valentine's Day gift coming along for your wife. Large is the creepy old guy in the pod. What's your take on this one right here?
I think it's refreshing that we hear about this from Jerry Thornton, and we're
Yes.
not hearing about this from news outlets who are saying this guy was immediately fired for doing something pretty. I mean, listen, if somebody gets my laptop at an inopportune moment for me, there could be a colonoscopy on it, right? Like we don't I mean, I look at a lot of stuff that shows innards. So the fact that this guy was just doing lingerie was a very very forgivable crime, and I'm glad we're at a that point in life where this guy is not good. This is the type of story where if the guy was to get fired, he'd be hired by Barstool the next day. Like Dave would stand up for his ability to watch Rihanna in.
This guy got screwed though.
Did he?
He
Did
got
he?
screwed because if you look very carefully at his computer screen,
Uh
I had an eagle eye on it.
Sure.
There's a lot of circles at the top of the screen above the actual post of the lingerie. What are those circles? Those are Instagram stories. This guy had Instagram pulled up on his desktop. It
Oh.
must have refreshed when he wasn't looking at it. The top post just so happened. If you follow Rihanna, you're going to be getting these posts. Maybe you follow Bad Girl Riri for the music, and all of a sudden, Fenty Savage is all up in your face on national television. This
I don't know
guy
what that
got
means.
fucked. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah. I need subtitles. It's like listening to Shogun. Who the
I
fuck
almost
is
fell out of
Fenty
this chair.
Savage? Yeah. But would you like I think there's something to it now that we're all three of us are about to be married men. Like every now and again, if I'm scrolling Instagram, my Instagram feed is relatively benign. But if I go to search for something, when you hit the fucking
Oh yeah,
magnifying
explore
glass,
page.
holy shit, my explore page is like my Instagram page shows me what I
I
want
would
people to
imagine
see.
your explore page is nasty.
That's why I can't go to Saudi for a fight. I'm afraid they're going to check my explore page and then cut my fucking hands off. You know what I
We
mean?
talked about this recently, and all the guys were sharing their explore pages, and it was what you would expect the guys at Barstool's explore pages to look like. I pulled mine up, and it was like 90 pictures of Wolverine. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
fuck, man. Like, yeah, it was almost the moment where you want to be the man about it. And it was like
Right.
Wolverine and Lego sets. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Listen to my mom's basement.
Yeah. I got a lot of French bulldogs and recipes, but in between that, it's straight up when the girl pretends to drop her camera and for a split second she gets, you know what I mean? So you got to pause it. I don't know. It's a fucking, yeah. So I have a lot of
large videos.
respect for this guy.
I did hear that your For You page could tell if you're more of an upper guy or a lower guy, just based. The algorithm is amazing to me. I would love to know more about it. We'll take that offline because I don't know where this could go with Large. He's already got us and did hot water a couple times just talking college football.
I apologize.
Speaking of hot water, look at that. We're moving along. Crocodiles in Indonesia have allegedly learned to pretend to be drowning humans in order to lure people into the water so they can eat them. So I happened to see this one come up on my Instagram, this little video, and then John Rich blogged it. And honestly, I don't even know like when the video's from, and I feel like this is just one of those recycled clips that they just put back on the internet. But
Yeah,
did you see this? It kind of does look like the croc is drowning. It also feels like a whole bunch of
it does.
bullshit to get some engagement on Elon's Twitter, and you get your paycheck at the end of the month, and you just snookered a bunch of people out of their view. That's my take on it.
Like Jimmy Superfly
I don't know.
Snicker?
I saw he killed someone.
Yeah.
I saw the clip. It does look like drowning people. It also comes off like the plot of like a Scooby-Doo cartoon or something. Like, oh, we're down in the haunted swamp and these crocodiles have evolved and they're yeah,
Yes.
and then in the end it's like you take the friggin' mask off the crocodiles in there. I don't know. Everything about it seems just a little bit like we're taking one too many liberties with like the crocs have they know what drowning humans look like, so humans could jump. I think it's just like, I don't know, the crocs are doing shit that kind of appears like this. Maybe it's just me as a human. I don't want to believe that those tiny croc brains are evolving because they're fast. Some of those croc videos you see nowadays, it's
Oof.
like, holy fuck, if I were in South Carolina, Florida, something like that, and a croc were coming up on me, I don't know if I could outrun it.
Are they that fast? Because my kids were on a path the other day in Florida and they saw the croc signs and they hightailed it back to the hotel. I'm like, what a bunch of little pussies. Just go out there and have some fun. Be kids. Get outside, stay off your iPads for a little bit. They probably would have been gator meat if I had just let them
I
sit
think
out
some
there
of
and
them are
do nothing.
fucking, they go like that and they're fucking, you know,
Yeah, it's
They're
like
fucking
they're fast.
I don't know if they're like, but it's like when you watch Walking Dead, I was like, oh, I can get away from zombies, because they're all slow. Then you watch 28 Days Later, and you're like, I'm fucked. Or World
Yeah,
War Z. I don't know. And maybe the animals are coming around, Robbie. Maybe we should start to believe some of this, that, they're figuring out a way. Like
maybe.
Planet of the Apes. I don't
I
know.
love those movies.
So do I. And the fact that they're rising up, maybe we should be taken over by crocodiles before we're taken over by AI. Either way, this
Yes.
fucks the lifeguard industry, because lifeguards be like,
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Especially for anyone who has, like, I don't know. I wouldn't jump in. Like now,
No.
lifeguard industry has just been turned on its head if this is true.
This might get us canceled in Indonesia. I'm going to say the lifeguard industry is not thriving in Indonesia. I would venture to say there's not one lifeguard working in Indonesia, except for maybe some
You think
resorts
you
and
could
stuff
get
like
one of
that.
those red sweatshirts that has like a lifeguard thing? It says like Indonesia Beach.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's
If you would have
also
came up with a real beach, I would have fucking kissed you on the mouth, by the way. You're like, Indonesia
No, I
beach?
can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also come to the point where I realize the internet is just becoming not like more so social media, things like this, especially as you give people rewards for just engagement, let alone if it's real, fake, whatever. It's just becoming like the National Enquirer or the Sun or whatever. Like that's just how you're gonna have to do stuff now to get clicks or to get people to talk about it. You just have outlandish shit and it's gonna go viral for one reason or another, let alone anything good, right? People lose their minds about this guy, the reporter who had the clothespin on his jacket, David
Yeah.
Muir or whatever. So it's like there's just craziness. People are just gonna spat off about anything. So um last but not least, so this one was interesting here. Today, the National Day of Mourning for Jimmy Carter, I believe, President Carter. So he had his funeral this morning. Uh, Large as an old man, you can appreciate this. I went to the post office. I had to just go to the post office, which is definitely an old man move.
Very much so.
Locked out.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh man. Now the post office has weird days, weird times. They're making their cuts or whatever. I'm thinking I just got a post office that is closed a lot. Go to my second post office, always open. Locked again. There is the sign, National Day of Mourning. No mail today. No post office today. However, kids had school today, which is kind of crazy to me. So,
And we had work.
and we had work. Is Dave Porto anti-American? Is that going to become like the
It's
don't put that as a title?
anti-Carter at the very least.
Anti-Carter at the very least. Yes, anti-peanut maybe. Whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, we have some like honestly some pretty great content coming out of this stuff. I don't want to say like the funeral, but you have Trump and Obama kind of talking, Obama kind of chuckling. You never know what's going on when Trump and ex-president are talking. Then you had George W. Bush just give a good old belly tap on Obama. It
Yeah.
was just great to see. Obviously, it's a serious subject with President Carter's passing, but it's kind of just nice seeing guys being dudes when it comes to presidents. Presidents being dudes is a beautiful thing to see. Large, you've lived through how many presidencies now? Like, who's your favorite president, first and foremost?
The presidents that I met, probably Buchanan. Uh,
Who
um,
met Carter?
I met Carter, yeah. I met Carter and Clinton. I met a couple of presidents. I was lucky enough. So, it's been almost 10 minutes, so I have to mention I used to work on Wall Street. The markets close when a president dies also. So I don't know who it was that passed away, Ford, and everyone like rushed to the phones to make their tea times because they knew that they were getting a day off. Everybody who was
Yeah.
on the floor because markets closed. So yeah, I mean like W was always good for that. Like when he came out after 9/11 and threw that BB, like there
Hmm.
were certain things that he couldn't do well. We're talking about Jimmy Carter, pretty nice guy, terrible president. Argue all you want about W, but he's always, if anyone's going to give somebody like a, hey, see where the horse bit me and give you a dick tap or something like that, I think W's on the top of that list. Maybe Clinton too, but he doesn't, have it. Like that's a perfect belly tap move. What happens if you belly taps Donald Trump? I don't think that
Ooh.
ends well.
Oh, Trump doesn't like it, I
He
don't
does
think.
not.
Trump
I don't
doesn't, you
think.
can't belly tap Trump. No.
No. Yeah.
That's like there was a moment in WWE where this guy Titus O'Neil like grabbed Vince's arm just to like mess with him a little bit, and
Mhm.
Vince immediately like suspended him. He was like,
Oh,
"No,
really?
like you don't grab me." Like it's one of those things where it's like you don't do that. W is funny now, where obviously growing up, very, very polarizing figure.
Mhm.
Now it feels like he's everybody's like loving uncle.
Mhm.
Everybody loves W. Seeing Obama laugh as hard as he was laughing at Trump, whatever Trump was saying to him, it's kind of crazy when you look back at the whole like he makes fun of him at the dinner and then Trump runs for president. Now we're here, we're in this position, whatever. But it was funny. It was one of those like kind of like Clem said, it's kind of a guys being dudes. Like whatever he said to him, I want to know because it was making Barry laugh hard. And yeah, they look like a
Barry.
couple of bros today. It looked like a good time for the boys.
Where is Slick Willie? Slick Willie had to be there. Was he just up paying his respects when that was? Because like you said, him and W definitely share a little
Probably.
bit of DNA there, but I don't know. Bill also has a little bit. I think he's also. I think Hillary's beating him down over the years, right? I think he's a little tired of it. Where I feel like Laura maybe not so much. He lets W be W. Like, he says that too. I got W. Got to be W, right, honey?
Yeah.
W. Yeah,
And
W.
like we see with Trump, he always has the wrestling of the handshakes, right? So a belly tap,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a guy who wants to have his belly tapped, rubbed, or anything along that way.
I
So
hate the belly tap. I hate the
Do
belly tap.
you?
Yeah. Like,
I don't know how to feel about the belly tap. It really depends on who it comes from.
yeah.
well, do you hate it when you were a large man like me? Or now that you're a skinny guy, it does a little
Or
less of a
medium. I've been calling you
connotation to
medium.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been calling you medium
I went,
McCarthy.
yeah. So for people, I went from morbidly obese to obese. I still can't fit under an umbrella, but you're looking like, but yeah, I just don't like being, I don't, but I'm a big hugger. I love a hug every now and again. Big tap on the back guy. You've seen me, bang, bang.
Yep.
But it's
Yep.
just that belly tap thing I've never kind of been into.
You don't like the belly tap?
No, maybe
If it's from
it's
the right person, I could be okay with the belly tap.
really,
I don't want to say I don't like the belly tap, but I could be okay with it. I could tolerate it.
I couldn't
yeah,
imagine belly tapping you though, Bob. You're not a belly tap kind of guy.
doesn't seem like it, right?
Now, large, you're like a little ass
Asshole.
tap. You wouldn't mind an ass tap.
No, don't mind a little bit of man. Yeah, a little bit of grab ass at all. Who's a
A
belly
little
tap
boop,
guy?
yeah.
Who's a belly tap guy in Barstool? Who's the type of guy that comes over and gives you like a little hit on the belly? Hey, what's up, buddy? Gives you a little hit on the belly.
Captain Cons.
Captain
Captain
Cons
Cons,
might be.
definitely the number one belly tap guy in Barstool
Right?
and maybe the
He just
planet.
came to mind. And you
Yeah.
know what? I wouldn't mind it if Captain Cons walked past me and was like, "What's up, Rob?" and gave me a little belly tap. I'd be okay with it.
I'd be fine with it. And by the way, the conversation is over. Like I was trying to think of somebody else.
That's him, right?
It's just Cons. Yeah, Yeah. But imagine like you kind of like came to the office yesterday, people or at least pretending to be happy to see me. But if I walked over, hey, how's it? And like Megan making money gave me a belly tap. I'd be like, bitch. Fuck you. Like I don't, Mincy comes over, gives me. I did wake up Mincy today, by the way. It was fun.
It was
And
fun.
Nice.
went to a Filipino breakfast.
Any beat buttons
Any
at any point, or
controversies
no?
unloaded? Did he spoil any?
Yeah.
Well, we get
reality
so we
shows?
we yeah. So tune into you can get it on the tape delay or whatever. Wake up Mincy if you want to know who wins this Survivor
The
thing.
tape delay, yeah.
Whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it is.
Is that
So I
wrong?
give it away on who wins and whatever. Yeah, fuck those guys.
Speaking of which, let's pivot to the after show right now. Surviving Barstool. It's kind of the buzz on the internet streets, I guess you could say. It's been that way after basically every episode. We had an early week because we have Notre Dame playing tonight. So basically, this week was Pink Wedding and then Pink Wedding Fallout. I'll tell you, I wasn't ready for that, Bob. I was not ready for what unfolded on Monday and Tuesday. And then even last night, you kind of just have the fall from it all. And, Big Cat's got all his stuff going on. And everyone's asking, TJ Lavin infamously hates quitters, and they're saying he's a quitter. It's just craziness, man. I don't want any part of it, and I am very
Yeah.
happy to have never. How happy are you that you were out of the show before anyone really could even get mad about anything? That feels so good.
So I was going to say, I have a few thoughts on Survivor, one of which being the jury house where everyone that's eliminated is watching is giving me so much FOMO. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I held on at least to be in the jury house. It looks like so much fun watching it with everybody. But I don't think I wish I held on long enough to make it to the pink wedding because that seemed like the most stressful environment possible. I was getting secondhand anxiety watching it. And I was also thinking like, why the hell did everyone say I was the favorite for this game because I was nice? As if that would lead you through the game like a cakewalk to the finals. I had no strategy going in. I wasn't thinking you got to put together, at the end, if you make it to the end, you got to say, I did this, this, and this to make it. I was so out of my realm that watching this, I'm like, I don't know what the hell was going on. I also didn't realize what a toll voting me out early took on Big Cat, obviously. Like, we're cool. Just if he didn't know, like, I got nothing against him. Obviously, voting me out was a big stressor, but I didn't realize it made him want to leave.
No, Big Cat's banned from the basement for life, and I said I will not go on part of my take for at least one full year unless he asks nicely. So,
Yeah.
like, the wounds
Yeah.
are there, Bob. Don't you say the wounds are not
It's
there.
crazy. It's crazy
He'd
stuff
asked
going
me-
on, but tell you what, it's a hell of a show. My mom is still watching. My mom texted me last night. I'm catching up. I'm watching the Pink Wedding. Like everyone is in on this.
We talk about Rob's mom a lot on this show.
A lot.
Remember?
It's my
A lot
mom's
off the show,
basement.
too.
Yeah.
Big Cat asked me to do the
Whoa.
yak yesterday. I said, fucking yak this, Team Robbie. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Thank you. Appreciate
Everyone
that.
who comes over to me, by the way, on top of talking about this, the show, I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to binge it after it's all done. They're talking about how the production levels this season are through the roof, how this is better than a lot of stuff that they see
Amazing.
scripted on TV. So, I mean, I don't know if they're unsung heroes or not, but the people who are putting this together, editing, shooting, and all that stuff are
Yes.
doing.
Shout out the editors. Some of them have been posting their timelines of the actual show's edit.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
insane. It's the audio files, the cuts. I
Right.
can't imagine, even starting to tackle one of these edits. So that's a good
Yeah.
shout out. The editors have been crushing it.
I don't edit at all, but I just know of those timelines and like have like a very vague idea of what they entail. And I want to throw up when I see how much stuff. And you see
Yeah.
it's like A1, A2, A3. It's just all these different mics, cameras, and they have to get it all together, tell a story. And again, Bob, you're kind of an OG like me here. Obviously, we're not to the level of, the guys who started this all. But to see what Barstool has become, where we have people who are actually smart and know what they're doing in that side of things, it's banana land, to quote a great man himself. So next week is the last three next week, right? Tuesday,
The
Wednesday,
last
Thursday.
three next week.
Oh,
And
we
the
got
hammer will fall.
hammer.
Dave's got so many of these in his office. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's got every size.
Oh my God. I didn't realize I thought he just had one this whole time.
All
Is it
depends
like-
on the size of his position. You know what I mean?
Ah.
Yeah, million shares, 500,000, 10.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets Large was an early member of Davy Day Trader.
I
And
taught Dave how to trade. If he
Taught him
can-
everything he knows.
Told him everything he knows. Yeah, I mean, you could fit it in a thimble because I don't know anything either. But he was at the very, very basis when he started whatever we were doing, Stock Central. He was like, like buys on the left, sells on the right type thing. It was an awesome time for me. And then he's built it into this empire, which I'm very happy for him.
yeah, that was the start of the pandemic and the whole world fell apart. But it was a great time for Large.
It was
and that's
good.
truly
Yeah,
all that
it
matters.
worked out well for me.
That's when you learn. When you had started here, I said, I don't like being on the boss's radar. You go, Clem, my whole life, I've always been wanted to be on the boss's radar. It's very important to move up in this world. And then after your experience with Dave, after he lost a couple trades that you co-signed, you said, I now know what you're talking about. Dave
didn't
Portnoy is not your typical boss.
I didn't even co-sign him. I think he just thought it was bad luck to talk to me after he took a position. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he was like, and then he was so happy. I mean, remember, it was like it was yesterday because Dave obviously has been an investor forever with funds and whatnot, but doing actual trading versus investing, versus a gambler who, when he loses a bet, you have nothing to show for it, right? It goes away. And then if you win, you have a lot to show for it. But when you lose on a trade, you still have the underlying security or whatever you bought in your account. So you still have some hope. And that turned him on so much. Like I could see Dave really getting in. I mean, he does it as a, a hobby and stuff like that now, but I could see him really getting into the day trading thing at some point once this all goes away because he's got huge balls and fucking diamond hands. And, it doesn't end once his bet doesn't work. It can always kind of come back. You can trade around it. So it was an interesting time. And I don't know. I don't know where it goes. Maybe I get back into it with him. Can we pitch that right now in the
Yeah,
rundown?
let's pitch it. I'm sure
Dave and
Dave
Lodge?
watches every rundown. He watches every piece of content as their producer Bart. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll see that in green light. And hey, his performance on Surviving Barstool is something. Rico giving over that immunity icon idol is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. But I saw Rico's face during it, and I knew exactly. I mean, they said it was Rico from Game of Thrones, all that kind of stuff. But just seeing Dave taking his victory laps, that's the old Dave right there, Robbie. You remember that guy? Go Prez
Oh,
go. And
yeah.
he's just firing up his people. He has all his enemies at the company coming at him, and then he just has his fans, and it's a vintage Portnoy performance going on. So I can't wait for next week for the I guess it's last 3 episodes. Is that right?
Yep.
We have 3 more.
Tuesday,
So
Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. So check it out, Surviving Barstool, and hey, maybe we'll be here on the rundown, getting ready for the season finale of Surviving Barstool. So we'll see you guys next week.